PathMook is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in the buying journey separates you from the competition online. PathMook qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add PathMook to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us out at pathmook.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Andra Bria from Medicai, marketing manager with them. How are you doing today, Andra?
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Well, it's great that we were able to connect, and I'm sure our listeners tuning in wondering what Medicai is all about. So, in your own words, can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So Medicai is building an easier way to access, retrieve, and share medical imaging data in a secure and compliant way. And we are kind of creating digital pathways for this data to be available both to physicians and patients when they need it at the point of care and independent of the systems they are already using and working with, independent of the organization they're working with, or the geographical location they are in. We're basically building some communication channels for this data to flow seamlessly. And you ideally want the provider not to specifically ask or spend a lot of time searching for this data, images, but just have this data available instantly to them when they need it. And this is true both for providers and for patients. And we'll probably get into more detail about why is this important moving forward.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. And so that way our listeners can get a good understanding of Medicai. What would you say is the key problem that you guys like to solve for your clients?
Yeah, thanks for this question. I think, so there are two aspects from a patient perspective and from a provider perspective. So from a patient perspective, I think some of us can relate to the issue where you go to a provider and you do a medical imaging exam like a CT scan or an MRI, and you request for this data for the images to be available to you. You get a CD. When you get the data, you get a CD, which you have then to go with to the second provider who will take you to the next stage of your care journey. This provider may be in the same town as you or not. You just take the CD and travel with it. Or if you can make it download it on your computer, you can also send it through WeTransfer or other means which are not really compliant. So not to mention that some of the devices that we use today don't really have CD readers anymore. So you have this issue with the medical images stored on CDs from a patient perspective, and this only creates delays and an experience that is not quite smooth. From a provider perspective, usually this data inside of a hospital, if they are inside of a hospital, is stored in the systems that are called PACS systems. These are usually available and open inside of that location. So if you're a provider and want to collaborate with other providers outside of your organization, it's quite difficult to do that with the systems already in place. So even if these systems, which are on-premise, offer decent security, they only allow people inside the organization to access the data. So this is also becoming a problem if we're talking about complex conditions which need multiple specialists to work and coordinate. So this is some of the issues that we're trying to solve for at Medicai. We would want to allow this data to flow seamlessly and be available so that any provider or patient, independent of where they are, when they need it, can use it instantly.
Awesome. Wait, and so then, Andra, who are your typically clients? I know that you guys like working with oncology, neurology, breast imaging, orthopedics. Is that your primary clients that you guys like to go for, or is there any other that fits you?
Yeah, exactly. We are at the moment, we're growing in the US market, and we are mainly serving specialty care providers, as you rightly mentioned, like neurology, orthopedics, cardiology, oncology, who are great, like big users of medical imaging, extensive users of imaging data, for which imaging is crucial, and especially in complex conditions. But we're also looking at like providers to realize and seeing the benefits of the data availability and seeing the benefits of care coordination. Value-based care providers were growing, and this is a segment that is growing not just in the US but worldwide. We're looking at accountable care organizations. We're looking at health information exchange networks. As I've already said, that for which care coordination is important, and data availability as well.
Great to hear that. And so how would somebody usually find out then about Medicai? Is there a top client acquisition channel that you guys have?
Yeah, thanks for this. Usually there are multiple channels that we use. So our public, some of our first clients have found out about us through technology forums and Slack groups, and kind of like Reddit channels. But we're also very focused on trying to grow organically. And for that, we are optimizing our website. We're optimizing our presence on Google. We're looking at what people are talking about when they are searching for solutions in the industry. We're working with medical imaging specifically, and we're trying to encapsulate those searches and keywords so that people can find out from the myriad of information online, can find us faster. So as I've said, we're growing organically through these channels, but also doing small paid experiments on Google Ads. But this is not necessarily our main focus. We're also actively reaching out to publications in healthcare, or to people who are very vocal on these topics that we're solving for, and trying to present our vision and our solution, and share what we're doing. And a lot of outreach also to providers and managers that we think that might benefit our solution.
Perfect. Awesome. Great to hear that from you. And so that way our listeners who are tuned in can go ahead and visit you. You could always check them out at medicai.io. Andra, what role does a website then play for client acquisition?
I think it plays a major role in that. And as we're speaking, we are improving our website. This is a period where we're actively doing that. And we're doing a lot of redesign and content updates. We've done a major redesign last year, and now we're doing another, just because that as we're talking and doing a lot of customer discovery, we have to adapt some of these learnings to be reflected in what we're saying online about them, about us. So just to use the right words and keywords so that people can find us better.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. And well, let's switch gears a little bit, Andra, and let's talk about you as a leader. You being the marketing manager there for Medicai, what are some key tasks you focus on your day-to-day work?
Yeah, thanks for that. I think I'm doing like a mix of marketing actions. Like, for example, I think it depends a lot on what we're focusing on a certain period of time. So, for example, now we're focusing on website redesign, as I've said, and there's a lot of like content writing, design feedback, and at the same time, we're growing our PR efforts. And so focusing on reaching out to different publications and blog authors and publishers, people who usually are the gatekeepers of news. Also, blog writing and social presence are basic, like daily tasks that we do all the time. So for that, it's basically an everyday effort. And yeah, just I really like to talk to people about what we're doing and like how are they seeing like improvements in the healthcare sector, and especially in what we're doing, like medical imaging, and just reaching out to people who might be interested in our solution and like finding out their challenges and talking to them. I think it's a great learning opportunity all the time.
Definitely. All right. Sounds like you have it handled there. So awesome to hear that. Well, the next is our next section, Andra, which is our rapid fire question rounds. Are you ready for them?
Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, first off, Andra, what is the last book that you read?
Well, thanks so much for this. I'm actually finishing reading The Patient Will See You Now by Dr. Eric Topol, which is a play like The Doctor Will See You Now, The Patient Will See You Now. And I think Dr. Topol is talking a lot about the digital revolution and how we're seeing this in other sectors like retail, banking, like travel, and every other industry where the customer is our master. And this is yet to happen in healthcare, but it will happen slowly. The digital revolution will give more power to the patient, or this is what it's intended to be, where the information about their health it will be readily available and super easy to share, and also from a research point of view.
Okay, great. That. Next is, if there be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
I think it's a lot about organizing things. Anything that could help me organize better my tasks and like setting the priorities, see where the gaps are that need to be filled, where do you need to improve communication or content, or like this is super welcome.
Okay, all right, great. And next is, if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
Yeah, I think, as I've already said, like organizing stuff, like or working on the website. And at the moment, I'm thinking a lot of like, how can we organize the pages? What it needs to be improved? Where are the gaps? And I think something else that I would like to be automated is how can we improve outreach to publishers? I think this takes a lot of time. And like, if there was a solution that could improve this way of reaching out, like, there are a lot of solutions out there for outreach, but specifically for this situation, I think it would be great.
Okay, perfect. And lastly, well, I mean, Andra, we have a lot of experience already, but what is that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Thanks so much for this. I think it's about like always measure your actions and your growth actions. versus results. And if we're doing like sprints, growth sprints, measure and then try something else, see how it works, or repeat what's already working. Because I've been always more focused on like the creative part of things. And I think as a marketer, you're doing a lot of like making meaning or like creating meaning through words and through design, through creative assets. And how can you translate those words and creative endeavors into data and measure what works, what not, what sticks, what gets improved? And I think something else that I'm seeing that actually I've always been doing this, but I think now, especially in healthcare, has been super fascinating as an industry, and always try to stay updated with the industry that you're working in. I think this is a great way to, a great advice that I would give myself and others.
Awesome. Some great advice. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Andra. And well, we are coming to the end of our podcast today, but I do want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about your company?
Thank you so much for this as well. I think it's super important to, because when we talk about digital transformation, and especially in healthcare, people don't realize that this transformation is actually about the availability of data and the data for to move in a secure way wherever it's needed, and to be exchanged at a rate which is proportional to the importance of time that time in healthcare. So the availability of data is super important, and we need to have like search for solutions, or like inform ourselves about what are the opportunities and the solutions available for the data to be more for the data to be seamlessly accessed, both for providers and for patients.
All right, great to hear that. And to our listeners, as I had mentioned, you could always check them out at medicai.io. I do want to thank our listeners for tuning in. Andra, I do want to thank you as well for giving us the time and being on today's episode. And I'm looking forward to our next episode at PathMonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Andra.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this meeting and for the opportunity to speak about what we're doing. And looking forward to connecting to your other guest. And for some of the listeners, they want to reach out, please add me on LinkedIn or send me a DM. I'm always available.
Perfect. And you could, it's Andra Bria.
Yeah. So you can reach out on LinkedIn, or if you want to write me an email, andra.bria@medicai.org.
Awesome there. Well, thank you guys so much, and looking forward to our next episode.